right. What's up? What's up? We are back with another stream.
How's it
J
going, everyone?
Masters. J Master Productions. Shammy Deep.
So, what is this chart right here we wanted to go over with you guys that we found really interesting, um, especially when it comes to athletics. I used to play sports. I know Shammy used to play sports as well. We used to play football in high
Mhm.
school. Did you play any other sports or just football?
Yeah, I played like basketball. I did wrestling, track, baseball, all
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I also ran track in high school. I used to play baseball a lot growing up, but then I
that.
did track instead
Right.
of in high school. But yeah, so I played sports. I remember what that was like. I wish I played sports. And I've actually spoken about this in some of my videos in the past, how I regret not playing like on club teams, not like anything professional, anything like that, but
Hmm.
just on club teams because this area I moved to, there's really not much compared to where I used to live. But yeah, it's I feel back in the day, playing sports is like I'm sure you've seen those videos even of PE classes, gym classes of high school, from like the 70s and stuff where they're doing all
Hmm.
that exercise. Have you seen that?
Yeah, yeah, and like everybody's like in top tier shape, and
Yeah,
then you fast forward to today's generation, and like half the kids are like overweight.
yeah, and you had to go outside back then when you were a kid,
Yep.
when you because there wasn't technology even in the 90s even, right? There's no early 2000s, like there wasn't technology, so people were going out more,
Hmm.
people were interacting more. I just remember even in high school for me, right, you could just show up to the turf, depending on the season, or the basketball court, and there was always people playing.
Right.
And I just feel like it's not the same anymore, at least in my local town here. I've gone to the court plenty of times and it's pretty rare that I see people playing
Yeah.
football
Yeah.
or basketball or
Hmm.
anything really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with me as well. Like growing up, like I remember spending so many summer nights outside with everybody on the block, like all the kids on the block. We're playing manhunt, kickball, just hanging out. And then like you fast forward till now, like I don't even see one kid outside when it's a nice day. And then if you go to a park as well, like sometimes I'll go to a park and play basketball. Yeah, you'll see kids out there, but it's like not nearly as how much as it used to be back in the day. You know, um, and a lot of kids, if they're out in the park, they're on their phones. They're just like not running around. They're not being active. So we've seen this generation like do a complete 180. And it's kind of scary and it's sad. You know.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, it's almost like a punishment now to go outside. Matt, if your parents were to ground you, it's no longer, you can't leave the house. It's you have to leave the house now,
Right.
because when you're in the house, you have all this technology. You got video games, you got your phone, all this way of communication. You got entertainers to watch left and right, bunch of dopamine to get. Uh,
Hmm.
if you're a girl, you're more prone to the posting and the likes, the comments, all that validation and stuff.
Right.
So it's evolved a lot, and
Mhm.
I really like I said, I would almost kill, not literally, but I would almost kill to have someone or some people in the neighborhood to toss a football around with once in
I
a while.
know. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man. And
So then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, I was just saying, like, you're right about it's a punishment to go outside now. Because I remember, like, when we used to get in trouble, my grandparents or parents, they would be like, all right, you can't go outside. And everybody's outside, and you're like, oh, man. But
Yeah,
now it's like the opposite. It's like, yo, you want to be inside hanging out. Like, it's just so crazy how times have changed.
right, yeah, and I feel for sure with my our parents' generation, like watching a sport, because
Hmm.
I just feel like all my dad, my uncles. Now, mind you, I'm from a very typical American family who likes to drink beer and watch football and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like they love watching sports. They love seeing all the highlights, knowing everything that's what's up with it. You know what I mean? Funny enough, I don't know if I have a little cousin who's like 10 years younger. Great kid and all that. And I
Hmm.
remember, he used to take a lot of lot of pride in the fact that he could name all the players and their positions on certain teams and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
he's a smart kid. He does well in school and all that. But it's imagine someone like him took that time to learn truth instead of sports players. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
Anyway, my point, which what I was saying was, I feel like that generation, like the Boomer and Gen Xers, they're the big watching on sports, and then you come up to the millennial, our generation, it's a lot of gambling on sports,
Right. Yeah.
which is what you see a lot. Um, and I feel like that's really big, and it's a rabbit hole, right? There's all sorts of different things you can bet on. I've never really been a sports bettor at all.
Hmm.
Isn't there all sorts of things you can bet on? It's not just like, oh, like, this Chiefs win over the Eagles. It's like all
Right.
different things, right?
Yeah, you can bet on how many players are going to get rebounds, points, assists, who's going to get the first basket. And like football, you can bet on first touchdowns, last touchdowns. Like
Yeah.
there's so, and that's like my thing about like the games being fixed. It's like, come on, you think Vegas is going to leave all this stuff up to chance? Like, of course they're going to fix it where all
Yeah.
these odds are going to happen. And they set the odds for these games. They set the odds and the line. Like every game, they know how many points are going to be scored, and they know if it's going to go over or under that line. Like you can't possibly tell me you can predict that. Like there's no
Of
way.
course.
Like you can't tell me
Yeah.
each day LeBron's going to score 25 points or 30 points, and it's over and under. Like come on, like that. It's just nonsense. Like so, yeah. I know. Like even with the presidential election, you could vote on that too. You could bet on that too.
Really?
Yeah, there was people betting on if Trump was going to win and Kamala and Joe Biden. Eventually, like towards the end, like Trump's odds like went down. So like you wouldn't make that much money for betting on him, but there was an option to bet on him in Vegas.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
didn't. I did not even know that. But do you
yeah,
remember the game from the Super Bowl? It was Broncos Seahawks. I think we were definitely in high school. We were either juniors or seniors, and the
yeah.
first play of the game was a safety.
I believe I do. Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
Peyton Manning was a quarterback, it was against the
Hmm.
Broncos.
Yeah.
So there was like rumors. I remember this is before I was awake at all to any sort of truth, but
Hmm.
there was like rumors or whatever, like media stuff that of course got like taken down of that Peyton Manning whispered to the referee, "When are you going to pay up?" or whatever stuff like
Hmm.
that. But anyway, so the reason why I was suspicious because I remember my friend telling me, "Oh, there was a billionaire or whatever, a really rich guy, who bet that the first play of the game, excuse me, was going to be a safety." And
Hmm.
look at that. But it wasn't just some guy bet on it. It was like a millionaire already or a billionaire. I think it actually was. I don't know who
Right.
exactly,
Yeah.
but he bet that the first play would be a safety. And like, what are the odds of that?
You're right. Yeah, and then if you throw $1 on that bet, you probably got like 5 grand, bro. So imagine if he threw a lot of big money on that. Because
So when you're in the know, when you have access to insider trader secrets, it's very easy to bet and just make money off people who think that it's all real, who think that.
right.
So what I wanted to ask you too about sports betting is obviously the Super Bowls are rigged, big games, maybe even playoffs games, more than likely stuff like that. But is
Hmm.
every single game rigged, like in NFL, let's say, or do they just let certain teams play once in a while for real, or
I
how do you,
think
how does that go? Do you think?
I think in the NFL, like any professional sport, I think all of it is rigged. If it's going through Vegas, if Vegas creates a betting line on the game, then more often than not, it is rigged. And we're starting to see the college games be blatantly rigged now, because
I heard.
college.
I've been hearing about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything, but
I mean, I've always thought like all games had some type of fixing. Like even when I was younger, I always thought like the refs were kind of involved, whatever. But it wasn't until like I got into older and like discovered like more knowledge. I'm like, oh, all this shit's actually really rigged and scripted from the beginning of the season. So like they know who's gonna make it into the last game before the season even starts. Um,
so is there a
now,
practice weekly like World Wrestling Entertainment, or they're just scripting matches, or because they're
so
professionals at this sport, so they could
right,
easily make it. They can make it look. easy, would
right.
make it look hard if they wanted to. Or I get it, with
I,
that, but
yeah, I mean, I do believe they're practicing the plays because
so they're
if you
together, like just secretly practicing.
I don't know if both teams are together, but I'll give you this example. When I was in high school, we both played football, but
Yeah,
when I was playing on defense, we had a scout team defense, and then we had the offense have certain plays. So they were giving us plays on how to defend the offense on defense, right? So that's essentially like giving us the script. Okay, it's like, okay, this offense is going to run this play, so we're going to have you guys play cover three on this, play cover two. So essentially, there was a script that we were following, and we knew how to defend it and whatever. So it could be something just like that, where each week the coaches have scripts of plays where they make the team go over in practice.
yeah.
um, if you remember the Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Seahawks, where the Seahawks lost in the goal line for not giving the
Yeah,
ball to Mahomes.
Butler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Malcolm Butler said in the interview after, he's like, "Yo, I forgot what they asked him, but he was like, basically, we practiced that play all week throughout the season." So they were practicing this play not only before the Super Bowl, but the entire season they were practicing that play of them throwing a slant on the goal line. Like
Uh,
I don't know anyone who practiced a play of a slant going on the goal line. Like you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
that's pretty weird. Yeah.
yeah, like no, almost nobody throws the ball
And
at the
do
1 yard
you think
line.
some players don't know that it's scripted? Like they're just like they can't do anything because they don't have a say. Because like even if they don't agree with the play calls or they think it's stupid, they don't really have a say. They have to do it. Is it that kind of deal, or are all the players in on it, or are just the big players in on it? You know what I mean?
I,
Like
I
the big name players.
Yeah, I think like if we go a little bit further back, like I think only the big players were in on it. Like, let's say like 20, 30 years ago where sports felt more real and authentic. I think only the bigger
Like
players
Joe
were in on
Namath.
it. Yeah, like those guys were definitely in on the script. Like Joe Montana and all those guys. Like, and the referees, the coaches, they were all in on it. But I
Yeah,
think as we get to more recent modern times, I think I would say more than half of the team is probably in on it, or at least they know something, funny is happening. Because I've watched the college games, and I'm looking at how these players are just giving up on plays. Like they're not even trying to tackle. They're not trying to even like defend the
okay.
ball. I'm like, yo, I played football. Like I know if you gave that effort on the field, you would get benched immediately. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So I'm like, these are
Yeah.
professional guys going out there doing that. Like, come on, man.
And that's
So.
interesting because I haven't watched a college football game in a long time.
Mhm.
But yeah, in terms of the NFL, it's so funny how you see even the memes. Like even the average person now thinks the NFL script. I don't know if the stat is true, but I've been seeing it on Instagram that 73% of NFL fans believe it's rigged.
Really.
And it's like there's been memes, especially in 2024. I've never seen so many Patrick Mahomes memes, the Chiefs, and all that stuff. And I
Mhm.
see what they mean. It is obviously scripted, and we're not talking big games, just like any regular games throughout the season. And you clearly the refs
Exactly.
are in on it.
Right.
Like it's become a meme. Like
Yeah.
that's how crazy it's become. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: is I don't think the NFL is losing fans, are they? Like, are they losing views?
I
If
don't think
anything,
so.
yeah. If anything, like the NFL still seems as big as it always has been,
Yeah. I
and
do think a lot of people are coming aware of it, like you said,
for sure, for
you
sure. And I think it's like they're slowly. I don't know why exactly. I can't pinpoint why, but I think it's for a reason. I think they're slowly but surely like getting us ready for something with it. They're just getting us ready for the fact that it's fake before maybe one day they just straight up say like WWF, back in the day, oh yeah, it is fake.
Yeah, right.
And what's funny? I think if they do admit it, that they're not gonna, they might see a little drop in fan base, but not a significant drop.
They
You know,
won't. Yeah.
like same with WWE. It's like people watch it, but they know it's fake. People
Mhm.
watch movies, they know it's fake.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the mystery. I think that's what it is. It's the mystery, and
Yeah.
but besides that, they're playing on people's I don't know.
Yeah.
People just
Like
need some sort of entertainment, I guess.
yeah.
when it's this is my team, and when they lose, you get frustrated. When they win, you get happy.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, they're messing with people's emotions, like you said, and it's really messed up because I've seen people like their whole day is like ruined when their team loses. They're
yeah,
mad at
I
their
used to feel
kids.
that.
Yeah, it's like these people get mad at their kids. They're mad at their wives, and they go to work angry. It's like, come on, like look at what they did to the city of Detroit, like the Lions. Like they were doing so well, and for the past 2 seasons, and then they have heartbreaking losses in the last part of the season. Like, in a city that it's already going through so much, in a city that's never won any big games. So it's like they mess with people, bro. They mess with people's emotions, and it's like a sick energy harvesting manipulation.
Yeah, it's
Um.
like with the New York teams, bro. How there's always a
Oh,
good New York team, a bad one, and then same with
yeah,
LA, good one and a
yeah,
bad one.
dude. For so long, the New York teams were all terrible. Like Jets, Giants. Like the only ones that was really good was the Yankees. But like Jets, Giants, Mets, Knicks, Nets. Like all of them were terrible for like at least a decade. You know. And I also believe the players, they signed NDAs where they can't talk about the rigging and stuff like that. So that's probably why we don't see a lot of players come out and say anything about it. Now we're starting to see like former players like Larry Johnson. I don't know if you know who that is, but um,
Hmm.
Larry Johnson, he's like a real truth seeker now. Like he talks about like numerology. He talks about like the rigging in games, and he's a real truth seeker. So it's good to see that. But I'm sure like a lot of them, they might know, but they're just too scared to come out and say anything.
Yeah, because what's crazy to think is those guys are all pretty young. Most of them are probably younger than us,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
crazy to think about. And
yeah,
you're getting paid $1 million, so
yeah,
it's a good life,
yeah,
for the time being at least.
yeah. And now the colleges are getting paid. Like the college players are getting paid too now. So
Oh,
they're
so
really,
I didn't even know they were getting paid. So it's definitely rigged then if they're getting paid.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they're getting paid more than professional athletes. Some of them at least. So
seriously.
yeah, like the highest the NIL deals, the highest paying ones are getting paid like over $1 million. You know,
Wow.
so it's like, bro, of course they're gonna go along with the script. If the coach says, hey, let this guy catch the ball on you and let him score. Yeah, I get paid $500,000. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Of course,
You
yeah.
know,
That's the
yeah.
easiest way to get money right there.
I don't know if you knew, but apparently they have the technology where the coaches can talk to the quarterbacks in their helmets. So all quarterbacks have a
I
microphone
didn't
in
know.
their helmets. Yeah, they all have a microphone in their helmet, and it allows them to communicate before the play starts. But supposedly it shuts off like 30 seconds before the play or something. But who's to
Huh.
say that every player on the field doesn't have a microphone in their helmet too?
Yeah, yeah. And
Like,
don't like in football especially, don't they have gloves that I mean magnets in the gloves and the ball doesn't
hmm.
have a magnet in it as well?
Yep, yep. And basketball too. There's magnets in the
Yeah.
ball for the rim. So that like now you're seeing like in football, you see so many uh field goals hit the post. Like like it's so rare to have a field goal hit the post. Like growing up when you played football or you even watched the NFL back in the day, you almost never saw the ball hit the post. Like it was like rare. Like that's why people were so shocked when the ball did hit the post and it made a big noise. I was like, whoa, because like you never saw the ball hit the post. Now, I would say if you did a compilation video in the past like 2 NFL seasons on how many balls hit the post, it's like ridiculous, bro. It's like almost averaging at least one per week. So right there will tell you that the games are fixed to the highest degree, and you're seeing the rigging take place live. Look at the guys in the NBA throwing up half court shots all the time, and they're sinking it every single time. Like, come on, bro, that's like Harlem Globetrotters. Like the Harlem Globetrotters, that's what they do. They have a
Did you
magnet in the
ever hear
ball.
Kevin Hart? This is like probably 5 years ago, or maybe more at this point. But did you ever hear Kevin Hart say that he saw that Steph Curry was a robot?
Yeah.
Or he lifted up his arm or whatever. Or he saw he was like a robot.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yeah, it's a little conspiracy.
Right, right.
But I do think there's magnets in the ball, 100%. Like
Oh
I've
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've watched a ball go in, and I'm like, all right, there's no way that's possible. There's one guy, Damian Lillard. He had this crazy like beyond half court shot, and he was getting guarded, and you can see like when he threw the ball up, it started to go left, and then right before it goes to the rim, it like curves back to the right and drops in. I'm like, what? Like, bro, there's no way that the ball can do that in an arena, you know? It's one
Yeah,
thing if you're outside and the wind is like blowing it, but he's in an arena. Like, there's no wind in there and the ball's curving. Yeah, get out of here, bro. So that's definitely what's going on. And
yeah,
I don't know if you know about like MK Ultra and stuff like that.
yeah. Of course.
Um, but like I do believe there's some type of MK Ultra on these players as well.
Oh, definitely the highest ones, like LeBron James.
Yeah,
People like him.
yeah.
What's up with OBJ too? Odell Beckham. I see him like constantly throwing up occult symbolism. He's got it like tatted all over him. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, all of them do.
and all
Luka
that stuff.
Doncic with the pyramid and eye on his hand, and Kyrie and all those guys. Like, and then like I do believe like they're
Kyrie, the one talking about, or no, it was Kevin Durant. I think talking about flat Earth and all that.
oh, was it? No, it was Kyrie. It was Kyrie.
Oh, it was Kyrie. Okay.
Yeah, and then later he's like, nah, I don't believe it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's
Dude, did
funny.
you hear about the fighter Bryce Harper, who like apparently he said some anti-Semitic comments or whatever?
Oh, Bryce Mitchell, was that his name?
Oh yeah, Bryce
Yeah,
Mitchell. My God, what did I say, Bryce
yeah,
Harper?
yeah. I did hear about that. Yeah,
Yeah. So he like
yeah.
apologized for it. Like I don't know what he said exactly, but
Yeah, yeah. He was something about how Hitler was basically good, and
right.
like honestly, like Hitler, yeah, he was really fucked up, like really bad person. But there were some things he was right about. It's not like this guy was totally wrong about everything. So, I just think that like people we need to look at things more than just black and white. We need to see what was the purpose between a lot of these things that happened in history. Um, there's a whole rabbit hole we could go into that, but
Right.
back to like what we are saying about the sports, I do think there's some type of like black magic going on too. You
Yeah.
know, like there has to be some type of like sorcery going on in these games for them to line up so perfectly. Like if you know about like numerology and gematria, like the games are like perfect number rituals. It's like crazy, like how they line these games up. Like for example, like a number associated with the Super Bowl is 131, and and every year a team that has a 131 like connection more than likely is going to make it to the Super Bowl, because in numerology the word Super Bowl equals 131. You know, so it's like this year. I'll give you a quick example. The Chiefs, um, Patrick Mahomes, his team advances to the Super Bowl 131 days before after his birthday. And then the Chiefs, they're also the only team to reach a 13-1 record in the season, 131. So it's like when you see like the numbers line up like that, that's like a telling that okay, this team's probably going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and it's like for me, I'm like, how did they make this stuff line up like this? Like it's so crazy to me. And in the Super Bowl, the Eagles, if they were to lose, their all-time record, well, for both sides, wins and losses, their all-time record would be 666 and 666 if they were to lose in the Super Bowl. So that that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And the team the Eagles beat before the Super Bowl, they beat the Washington Commanders. The Commanders, when they lost that game, they stayed on 666 all-time wins. So come on, like what are the odds all that shit lines up like that? You know what I mean? Like, so that's what I'm thinking. Like there has to be some type of sorcery or black magic
Well,
at
there's
play here.
predictive programming. Yeah, you're definitely right. And there's predictive programming in that. The Batman movie, Bane, I think.
Hmm.
With
That was a crazy scene.
yeah, the groundbreaking or whatever. It looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? That's
Yeah,
just supposed to
right.
represent. But yeah, there's that, and then obviously we have the Super Bowl coming up right here, and as you know, the commercials are a huge part of sorcery, magic, and predictive programming, social conditioning. I was looking today that
Hmm.
I think a third of the whole world's population watches the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yep.
One, like literally one third. And we all know most people don't really care about football. They watch it for the commercials. That's the gimmick behind the Super Bowl, right? For the people who don't care about football, it's the commercial.
Right.
And we all know that that's where they are getting you ready for the next stages where they want to bring the world.
Hmm.
So it's all really interesting because anyway, I know we talked about a lot here, but just to close this out real quick, just we grew up in this world where you went from playing a sport, and then we went from a generation that loves to watch sports that now gambles on sports, and now
Hmm.
it's almost to a point where it's like we're the powers that be are even exposing that they're at the NFL. One of their alphabet soup corporations is a rigged thing, and
Hmm.
because of all the memes, right, that we were talking about earlier, that you see about it with Patrick Mahomes, and he's gay with the refs, all this stuff. It's funny. It's very entertaining stuff to laugh at if you do need a good laugh. But
Right.
we're going to get into a lot more details. Probably on one of we're going to do weekly streams, short ones, and then one long one. Where we'll go really deep into stuff. We'll definitely get into sports betting and all that and how that works. But we don't
Hmm.
want to go too long here. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Shem, if you got any last words, you can go ahead and close this out.
Yeah. I mean, again, just being aware of these things makes your life better. Knowing that there's things put in front of you for a reason. Like the TikTok, the Instagrams, the sports gambling. The scrolling on the phones. Like all this stuff is put in front of us for a reason, and it's to distract and to manipulate us. And I think if people started looking at life like that more, like seeing the matrix for what it is, it'll be easier to get out of it, and you'll just feel better about yourself. Knowing that you're not wasting your times on things that is fixed and things that don't really hold any like weight in the real world. Like what real weight, like what, like for example, a team winning the Super Bowl, how does that help any of us in the real
Yeah,
world?
yeah,
you know like it's not like when these teams win, like the state that they're in gets paid extra, like gets like a tax bonus or whatever. Like nobody wins, only the team
right.
wins. Like they are the only ones that get make money from it. All we get is braggers rights.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Well,
like, why?
you know what hurts is that, and to your point, what hurts as people who call me a friend, or people who are my family, is people they'll spend hours watching basketball or whatever, and they can't even watch like a 5-10 minute video of mine kind of explain
Hmm.
real stuff. And it's not even just, it doesn't have to do with me necessarily. It's just they wouldn't even dedicate 10 minutes of listening to whoever talk about anything really important about truth.
Right.
It's just people just want to entertain themselves, and their excuse always is, "Had a long day. I work hard this night. I deserve to unwind and relax." But I
Hmm.
I feel like when people aren't working their 9 to 5 or whatever, they're just entertaining themselves the whole time
Right.
with all different things, not just with sports or TV or social media, but it could be anything. Just
Yeah.
constant entertainment. There's not enough learning about what's stuff that matters, stuff
Right.
like morals, right? I,
Hmm.
I like there's stuff you can be ignorant about. I can be ignorant to basketball. I don't I can go my whole life not knowing NBA or anything about it, and my life will be okay in
Right.
terms of morals. But some things you can't ignore. Like for example, like what I was talking about a lot on the long stream we did, the Federal Reserve. You can't be ignorant of that.
Hmm.
And some people might say that that's egotistical, that like, why, how is that going to change my life? Once you just understand something small as that, 9/11, just these small little truths
Right.
that we were lied to about, you're really not allowed to remain ignorant of these things,
Yeah.
because they affect your life, and not only do they affect your life, but they affect the people around you.
Right.
So yeah, anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's my little rant
No.
there.
Yeah.
But
That's a great way to end this off
that's
here.
that's just what's annoying, man, about
Hmm.
these sports figures is these people love them. I never met them, but they'll spend money on them. Like you said, the other day. They'll wear another man's last name
Hmm.
back of their shirt.
Yeah.
But
How crazy is that?
but they will not bulge when they get an income tax or what a congestion tax that New York City is doing. Like, is what
Right.
it is, man.
Yeah. So that's why we're on here trying to, preach truth and get the word out there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think that was a good stream we just did, and hopefully a
Yeah,
lot of people get a lot of good information out of that, and we'll be doing more going forward.
yeah. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about journalism and dive into that a little more. So stay tuned.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, everyone, take care. Have a good night. Peace.
Peace.